We're going to start it out by allowing Representative Bazemore to ask the first question.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Bonner.
How are you, Representative Bazemore?
Thank you for coming. The first question we have for you is, did you support the city in '06 and currently in this period?
Yes. So I definitely support the city in '06 and currently in this period. One thing I've always been a champion of is the city directing where the citizens of the city go. So when we were unincorporated Fulton County, it was kind of like we were just getting whatever we could get, and we didn't necessarily have a voice. Now I'm from here, and it's always been unincorporated Fulton County, but we always identified ourselves as Southwest Atlanta. So now that we have an actual voice and we are the city of South Fulton County, I think that has always been important. So that's why I represented it the first time and the second time.
Okay. You made a comment that we refer to ourselves as Southwest Atlanta. Tell me a little bit more about what that meant.
Okay. So growing up here in Atlanta, 70s, 80s, 90s, on into the 2000s, whenever, and I traveled all across the world, whenever anyone said, where you from, it was always Southwest Atlanta in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s. Where you from? Southwest Atlanta, Southwest Atlanta. And the reason that we would say that is because you think of the city of Atlanta, the power structure of the city of Atlanta. The power structure of the city of Atlanta came from Southwest Atlanta. Now, unincorporated Fulton County, this new city that we have, South Fulton, did not have an identity outside of Southwest Atlanta. We couldn't identify with College Park. We didn't identify with East Point. We didn't identify with Union City. So we didn't have a name. We did not have a label, but we had a power structure. So when we would say Southwest Atlanta, we said Southwest Atlanta with pride. Now we will say the city of South Fulton with pride.
Okay. Let's move on from that. The term for mayor is 4 years. And so what we like you to do is kind of project, go 4 years out. And you're now about to give the state of the city address.
Okay.
What are you going to tell us?
So 4 years out. So imagine, if you will, we have a town hall meeting. Robert Varner is giving the state of the city. What has he accomplished in these past 4 years? So the first thing I want you all to think about is everybody in that audience standing there, looking up at the podium. All the city officials are there, the entire network that we have formed to support our city. But the audience members, the citizens of the city of South Fulton County, looking up, smiling, saying, I voted for Varner. The reason that that's important is because they have seen where the city was in 2017 to now where it is in 2021. And the first thing I'll say is thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your comfort in me. The next thing I'll say is thank you for supporting each step that we have taken to get us to the point where we are now in 4 years. 4 years, we will not be the city, the ideal city that every citizen of South Fulton deserves. But we will definitely be on track to getting there over the next 4 or 6 years. So one of the things we want to look at is, okay, it's a 10-year projection, but does Robert Varner have to be in place for 10 years to make that projection come true? It's not going to be my ideal projection. I won't be a leader from top down. I'll be a leader from bottom up, meaning I'll lift up the citizens of South Fulton. Day one, what do you want? Day one, where's the structure coming from? What spokes do we need on this wheel that we call your municipal government?
Okay, let me make sure you understood the question. You are giving the state of the city address. You are talking about your accomplishments. What are those accomplishments?
So the accomplishments are we are on track to getting to where we need to be. So one of the accomplishments may be sidewalks so our children don't have to walk in the street on their way to school. Another accomplishment may be that we definitely developed a culture where the citizens of South Fulton say, not in my neighborhood, meaning crime. We don't have a high crime, but we have petty crimes. And another thing I'll say is, thank you for allowing me to help our boys and girls have somewhere to go to have an outlet for their creative energy. Because that's all that happens when teenagers don't have, or young people don't have an outlet for creative energy. They look for things to get into. So I'll say thank you again for allowing us to have these athletic facilities, these art facilities. Thank you for allowing us to break ground on these places for businesses. So that's what I'll say. I'll say thank you. I'll say the job is not done, but thank you for at least paving the road to where we're going to go.
So you mentioned that you have to take some steps. One of the first steps you're going to have to take would be to transition the city from the county. Can you give us a description of what your transition plan will be?
So what happens day one, or before day one, with the transition? I'll have to put people in place to assist me. It's not going to be a one-man show. It's not going to be Robert Barnum with a cape on flying in and doing everything by himself. Can't happen that way. So I'll have to first work with a city manager in place, getting the city manager in place. And we'll put models. The city of South Fulton, there's no reason for us to have to reinvent a wheel. We're not the first unincorporated Fulton County place to become their own city. So as your mayor, I work with other places that have become their own cities, Sandy Springs, Brookhaven, and we see exactly what's worked for them, and we take that as a model and put it in place for what works for us. We go to other cities and we see what's worked for them, and we put it as a model to see what's worked for us. You look at the team that they had to build to get those things in place that have worked for them, and we model ourselves to do the exact same thing. So your question was, what will I have to do to help transition us over to a new city? So one of the things I know is a burning concern in the citizens is services, whether it be police, fire, right? Well, we already have unincorporated, we already have Fulton County Fire and Police. We'll look at rebranding them to South Fulton Fire and Police. We'll keep those same services in place until we work out a model where, as the city, we'll have our own fire and police in place, right? So we will keep the existing police chief, the existing fire department in place.
So it's your plan to keep the police chief, keep the fire chief? Is that what I'm hearing you say? Because I want to make sure that we are clear.
Day one, we already have something in place.
Okay.
Let's keep it and let's work at what is best for the city, because day one going in, it shouldn't just be, I won't come in with a big broom, a big push broom, just sweep the slate clean.
Okay, but day one, unless you had something else.
Yeah, no, I was just going to follow up. So when I guess I'm going to get a little bit more deeper in terms of those steps, because that transition is going to be critical. So you mentioned people. What are 2 or 3 other things that you need to do to make sure you got a good transition from the county to becoming, a city of South Fulton?
And when you say 2 or 3 other things, are you meaning 2 or 3 other people?
No, steps.
Okay.
Actions.
So the first thing I would need to do is have an economic development director on the team. So I go to the people, to the steps. If you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I do is the city manager, finance person, zoning and coding, right? Economic development. So these people will be in place. And what we'll do is we'll work with the transition teams that's already in place, because that transition team already has metrics and steps in place, and we'll work with that transition team. We'll also have a legal counsel, because we want to do it legally. We don't want anything to be done where somebody can come back in the future and say that wasn't done right, you got to redo it. We don't have the finances or the time for that. So day one coming in to help us transition from unincorporated to the city. That's May 1st. The elections are March 21st. Not a lot of time in between. As soon as the elections are over, runoff or what have you, it's going to be the one election, March 21st. Then we get that team in place immediately between that transition, that period from May 1st to March 21st, and we get the steps needed to just be able to go day one with, here's your fire, here's your police, here's what we're doing, here's the transition team that's already been appointed by the governor. Let's work what we have and keep it moving from there.
So can I just ask a question on that? How do you plan to hire those individuals to be in place on
That's a great
May
question.
1st?
That's a great question. One of the things that I researched before I even decided to or chose to become a candidate, put my hat in for mayor, I looked at the city of Sandy Springs. And I remember that their city manager, that they had, it was an interim city manager, he was able to provide his services on a volunteer basis, all right? So if we have people that say, okay, we know that you're a brand new government in place, otherwise we're stroking checks for a team already, and we're saddling and burdening the citizens with a bill already day one, okay? So if we have the funds to come in, we'll have the funds for the city manager, I already know that's allocated. So if we have the funds,
Allocated how?
well, because it'll be it'll be, the mayor will be the elected official. The city manager will run the day-to-day operation of the city.
Right.
Right.
But you said
So-
something about money already being allocated. I'm
Well,
trying to
the
understand.
budget will have to be in place for us to at least have the salary for the mayor and the salary for the city manager going in.
So where are you gonna get that from?
We'll get it from the budget that's already in place from the transition team, from the transition of the county. So we'll get the funds from the county. Those funds from the county will help us get started with the city manager.
Okay.
Now, any other funds that we need for the rest of the group, we'll have to see if they're available, and then if they aren't available, then I'll get started on the business, the day-to-day business of the city, to go down and work with the budgeting team, work with the economics and the finance team, to get things going to where we can have a central planning system.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I'm looking for clarity around this, your concept that the county is going to give us the money. Where is that coming from? Why would the county just give us the money? I'm trying to understand.
So it's already funds already allocated to our area. So what I'll do is I'll work with the transition team. I'll work with Fulton County. I'll work with the state of Georgia. I'll work with the House of Representatives to make certain that those funds that are already coming down, because we couldn't operate as unincorporated Fulton County if we did not already have.
Right, but it's a difference between operating as unincorporated Fulton County and operating as a city.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think his question was around the transitioning from one to the other.
Right.
It's not a leap from one to the other, it's transition from one to the other.
Right.
So we're looking for clarity around the transition, not the leap.
Okay. So step by step, I'll work with the current transition team that's already in place to make certain that funds get allocated to what the citizens want.
So I know you keep mentioning funds. Do you have an idea what the budget is?
Now, when you say what the budget is, you mean the budget for us forming a city or currently what the budget is?
Go ahead.
What is the current budget that we are functioning on when we were unincorporated? And do you feel as though that is adequate to go forward?
Sure. So the current budget, and do I feel that it's adequate to go forward? I absolutely feel that the monies that we have allocated to South Fulton are enough to go forward with starting off the city.
And why?
Why?
Yes.
Because they just aren't being directed in a place where they would have been directed if we had been a city 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So the funds that we have the resources that are needed. We just have to redirect them into the places where they need to go.
What, you have other
Yes.
questions?
So we asked that. What are your plans for public safety? As we know, the climate right now is very concerning over that issue. What are your plans? And how do you plan to implement it?
Okay, that's a great question. And that's one I thought about. Growing up right here in this exact same community. In the media now, people will say, oh, well, down there in that part of town, closer to the airport, South Fulton, there's a lot of crime. not more crime than anywhere else, and it's actually less violent crimes in most places. Now we have petty crimes. When I say petty crimes, I mean crimes where there are people without an outlet to that energy. I remember growing up myself, when I was 18, I came out of Mays High School and I went over to Clark and Atlanta University. My friends and I, we had a vision in place for where we wanted to go. And that was directly due to our parents and the influence of our community. But I think a child without direction is a child that will go anywhere he's led. And if that leading influence is somewhere that results in crime, or what we call crime, is a detriment to that child. So the same child that we have here, I'll give you an example. The same child that we have right here in this new city of South Fulton is the exact same child that they have in northern Fulton County. The difference is, in northern Fulton County, there are more outlets for that child's creative energy. Now, we don't have students and kids standing at the bus stop wondering if I'll get to school safely, if I'm gonna get gunned down in the streets before the bus comes to pick me up. We don't have kids walking on their way to school saying, I'm gonna get jumped in by a gang. We just don't have that down here in South Florida. We never had it, we don't want it, we won't have it. Now when people say, oh, you all have this and that, it may be somebody migrating down to South Fulton that thinks that this is the place to set up shop, but it's not the place to set up shop. We politely escort you up Camp Creek back to Hartsfield Airport. So you can take the gangs and you can take all the violent crimes and move them somewhere else. So to answer your question directly, while I was teaching over at Washington High School, I taught for 10 years. We had different programs that came into the school system and worked with our boys and girls to let them know, here's a vision that you can set for your future. A child with a vision is a child that has direction. That's a child that may not go to the left or to the right, but he'll stay forward, she'll stay forward. So one of the things that I want to do, working with the citizens, working with the schools, working with businesses, we mandated that if you had a business, we want you to partner with the schools. It starts with the schools because every child's going to be in school, even if it's homeschooled. We start with the schools. We get businesses involved with those schools to say, here's what we want in our product. The product being the graduate of that school. Whether you graduate from high school, you go on to college, you go on to trade school, you come right out of high school and go into work. That student should have a focus by their 10th grade year. Have a focus. Now, children change their minds, absolutely. Teenagers change their mind, they here and there.
But you're talking about what the schools need to be doing.
Well,
we're trying to get an understanding.
I understand.
There's a difference between what the schools do and what the city does.
Right, so the question was about crime,
Right, and listening to you, do you feel as though all the crime are the youth? Because we need to focus on the whole. And how are you going to deal with that and implement?
Absolutely. I feel that the majority of the crime is committed by people who don't have a focus. So what I'm saying by that is the majority of our crime is by people who don't have an outlet for that creative energy. We'll put them in facilities. Every child's not going to play football or basketball, but we can have the arts. We can have the community. Now, when we get to the serious crimes, where you have older people that are committing violent crimes, invading in homes, personal property. Now, that's where the police chief and I and the committee work together to identify areas with the citizens. And we work on a plan to where a culture has to be established. A culture has to be established in that community that says, not in my area. And we work with the police to help enforce that culture, where we support the citizens of that community with our police to get the elements out of that area that the citizens don't feel deserve to be there.
I want to go back to your response to Representative Bruce, and you mentioned the word economic development, and everybody likes to use the word economic development. Give us an example. When you say economic development, what does that really mean for the first mayor of the city of South Fulton?
Thank you, Derek, for asking that question. Economic development is a catchphrase. You hear it here, you hear it there. So here's what economic development means to me. Even economic development to me means it's not necessarily we attract the major companies that are already out. We attract the Google, we attract the Amazon distribution centers. Economic development means that we work with the citizens that we have right here to incubate their creativity to where businesses are coming out of South Fulton. Not necessarily trying to attract all these businesses to South Fulton. Businesses are coming out of South Fulton. The same way businesses came out of Austin, Texas with Michael Dell, the same way businesses came out of Seattle, Washington, the same way we champion Silicon Valley. We look to those people and say, oh, this beautiful business came out of Silicon Valley. Let's see if we can attract them down south. Let's see if we can get everything in place to where they want to move here. Let's see if we can empower the talent that we have right here. Because I know the next question is, Robert, how are you going to do that? So Austin, Texas had an incubator that brought out Michael Dell, that brought out all these technology companies. When people look at thriving businesses out of California, those people have incubators in place to where they can take the talent and that talent springs into a business. One of the things that come out is municipalities like to play tax incentive games. So we'll give a tax incentive to this business, but it winds up being like a person going into a car lot trying to buy a car. Well, this car dealership is offering me this price. Can you beat that price? And the car dealerships want to compete for that one little small margin of profit. But outside of the price, what really makes that person want to throw a business and thrive and grow a business out of our city is going to be the surrounding factors. It's going to be the school. It's going to be the safety. It's going to be, will the community that works in that business want to live in that city? And can I send my child to that school as well? I'm not going to harp on schools, but I believe that the education system is the foundation of a perfect city.
I got a call the other day from someone that wanted, it's a large senior community in our city. And they were asking about homestead exemptions. And they asked me to ask the candidates their thoughts on seniors and how having to pay school taxes and other taxes, as a senior. What is your thought on that?
My thought on should your property taxes as a citizen who does not have children in the home that go to that school, meaning you have necessarily aged out of that local school tax. I don't think you should be access that local school tax. If you don't have on your property taxes, if you are aged out to where your children are out of the house, because the local school tax, as you know, pays for your child to go to the school in its local area. So that is one of the things that I am a champion of, which is...
And relate that also to the property tax and all the other taxes that have to be paid. And if we give all these exemptions, how do you make up the difference, the different money that goes away from that, so that you still can provide the services you're talking about? How do you manage that?
That's a great question. So one of the things that we have to do, it's kind of like a brand new subdivision. And you got a subdivision, and it's going to take me a couple of minutes if you don't mind, bear with me.
I don't want you to run out of time.
So it's like when you have a subdivision where a lot of people are moving out of that subdivision, and they're moving out for whatever reason, whether it be crime, whether it be because they want to move to a different county or a different part of this same county so that their child can go to that school. Then what happens with those homeowner association fees, they get divvied up amongst the homeowners that are in that subdivision. So when we have older population, which we do have, which is great, what happens with the older population, once the child grows up, they move other places. So those property taxes that are allocated for education, they go to other parts of Fulton County. So one of the things we have to do is make our city attractive to where young families believe in South Fulton.
How do you do that?
How do you do that? You have things in place that attract family growth. You have things in place that attract family growth, like They say, oh, there's no double taxation in America. There's double taxation in America when you're paying property taxes to send your child to a school and you still turn around and you pay for private school. That's double taxation. And you cannot write private school off, you cannot write, I get passionate, you cannot write private school off on your taxes. You can write the interest from college loans off on your taxes, but not private school. So we're paying for K through 12 private school, and then we're supposed to have a savings to send our child to college? No, we take out a loan. So one of the things that we do is we work with the community. This should be a district-led school system. Not saying that, oh, the city of South Fulton will now run the school system. It will still remain Fulton County school system. But one of the things for new families, to keep them attracted to here, so that when the older population says, okay, well, I don't want to have to pay that. You should not, because you're not paying it to something that you're utilizing. Let's not tax people for something that they're not utilizing.
Let's move on to probably one more question each.
Okay.
So we can get to
Okay.
the others.
So how do you feel about outsourcing? And do you feel it's necessary?
So would you mind giving me an example of what you mean?
Outsourcing any services
Okay.
that the city is going to need. And if so, is it necessary or is it not necessary to outsource?
That's a good question, because it's going to come up. We're a brand new city, day one. We have a lot of services that have to be provided to our citizens. So if we go in day one saying we're going to build this big, huge, top-heavy government, we are immediately burdening our citizens with debt. When we can look at what's the leanest way, when I say lean, I mean economically lean. What's the economically most lean way that we can get started day one with trash? We can get started day one with providing all the utilities, all the services, everything that everybody needs to continue their life going forward with seamless transition. Then we may have to look at outsourcing. So that's something that we will have to look at for the immediate
Okay,
part
I
of the city.
want to kick.
And then going forward, we can look at whether we can keep those things in
Okay, I
our
heard you
city.
say something about trash. Is it your plan for the city to go into the trash collection business? Because we're not doing that now as a county.
That's right. Right now, I currently pay for an independent company to pick up my trash, and I'm very pleased with that independent service that picks up
But
my
I thought I
trash.
heard you say something about the city
Yeah.
picking up trash.
Yeah.
So is that
So here's one of the things that I want to look at. With our trash service, immediately outsourcing. So as a new city, we should have one central focus trash pickup service. Now, does that central focus trash pickup service have to be owned and operated by the city of South Fulton? Immediately, I'm gonna say no. Immediately, I'm gonna say let's do a bid. Let's outsource. I'll use the word outsource. I'm not afraid to. Let's outsource the trash pickup immediately with a bidding process to get the best price. The benefit of that is if the citizens voice to the mayor and their city council that they are unhappy with their trash pickup, because we have outsourced them and contracted them in, we can get rid of it. You please the citizens of South Fulton, you stay doing business in South Fulton.
You know, you mentioned central focus, and that spurs my next and final question. When I look at the map, the city of South Fulton, the 7 districts are geographically fragmented due to annexation. So give us 1 or 2 things that you would do to make it feel as if those 7 districts are connected, feel whole. How would a citizen know that you are centrally focused on all 7 districts?
That's a great question. Thank you, Derek. One of the things that, again, keep people focused and build a community. People say, I want to go work for a company, I want to work for a corporation. That's cooperation. So one of the things that allow the citizens to feel united, because we are fragmented, it's like a jigsaw puzzle with pieces missing. And we understand that other cities were biting out pieces of Fulton County, South Fulton County, South Fulton. So one of the things that keep the districts united and bring the people together is an ideal image of where the city is going. If the city does not have an image, and I mean transparency, we got enough digital technology to keep everything transparent. So when the people have an image of what the city will look like,
What is that image?
That brings each district together around that image.
What is that image? I guess earlier you made a comment about other cities and them bringing businesses here. If you had
starting businesses from here,
okay. If if I say New York, it gives you an image.
Absolutely.
If I say Los Angeles, it gives you an image. If I say Florida, or not Florida, but Orlando, it gives you an image. What is that image that you're talking about that we would get if somebody said City of South Fulton?
Great question. So when you think of the city of South Fulton, what is that image? Each citizen, each district should have a collaboration with its citizens of where they want South Fulton to be. It won't be what's the image Robert Varner sees for South Fulton. That's not leadership, that's dictation. What is the image that the citizens of South Fulton see? So if the citizens of South Fulton want to see sidewalks, if the citizens of South Fulton want to see a bike trail that they have, a silver comet that takes you from the East-West Connect from Mableton all the way to Kennesaw, if you want more athletic activities, if we will have that trail. If you want to see, I got an email the other day from a gentleman who lives in a rural area in South Fulton, because our information is perfectly out there, which I think is great. And the gentleman said, you know what, Robert Varner, one of my deciding factors of voting for mayor would be, I don't have access to high-speed internet. Will you run Google Fiber out to my rural area? So I replied to him, we will look at incentivizing companies with high speed. It took me forever to get Comcast. So if the image for the citizens is, I want to be able to go to a business and get on Wi-Fi. I want high-speed internet in my area. I want an image of a big athletic facility where my child can go and paint, my child can play the violin, take gymnastics, indoor soccer.
With all due respect, you're talking about services. Mm-hmm. And the question was about an image. If I say New York, I think about not so much even Times Square. I think about finance. I think about the whole New York, Wall Street. The image of
California
business.
Right.
In Los Angeles, you're thinking about the movie industry, and all this. So I'm trying to figure out what will we be known for under your leadership. What will this city be known for? Nobody's going to say I'm going there because they got sidewalks. Mm-hmm. Okay, nobody's going to say I'm going there because they got parks. Mm-hmm. So what is the image that you want this city to have so that people say, I want to go there?
The image that I want people to have to say, I want to go to the city of South Fulton is, the city of South Fulton does government differently. The city of South Fulton place things in place where people can thrive. If you have an idea, now is the time. Come to South Fulton, in South Fulton. Now is the time to get that idea up. I want people to have the image of South Fulton that they may think about when they think of Seattle, Washington back in the 90s, when you had companies springing up with coffee. People have been drinking coffee for years. And all of a sudden, springing out of the city of Seattle, Washington, you get a new brand of coffee. I want people to have the exact same image in South Fulton, meaning if I have an idea, I know that I will be supported in getting that idea out. Okay. I want us to be that progressive city where we have all the bells and whistles in place to help us thrive.
Okay, this is our last question, and then we have to move on. But if we've asked you some questions, and I'm sure that when you came in here, you said, I hope they ask me this question. Whatever that is, what was that question that you were hoping that we would ask so that you'd be able to answer it?
The question that I was hoping that you all would ask to, that I'd be able to answer is, Robert, what makes you qualified to be the mayor? You got other people up there with you. What makes you qualified to be the mayor?
What's the answer?
What makes me qualified to be the mayor is the system in place, meaning that I will be able to be the face of the city that goes out and sells the city, not only to the citizens, but to other places. What makes me qualified to be the mayor is my passion for each and every citizen in the city of South Fulton. There'll be no citizen left behind. A gentleman asked me, well, will the government be open for me to just come in and voice my concerns? Absolutely. If the mayor is there, if I'm there, then yes, you can talk to me. I will have an open door policy. I will have a policy where within the laws of the different bylaws and of the city that businesses can thrive. I have that passion for our citizens of South Fulton that lets you know transparency first, which leads to trust, which leads to being able to work with our safety, which leads us to work with our school systems, which leads us to being able to work with businesses. We've got to start from the bottom, but empowering the citizens.
All right.
Okay.
Thank-
All right.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you
Thank
all.
you very much.
My pleasure. Derek,
All right. Thank you.
Representative.
Thank you. All right.